Doesn't matter which side of the border you're on today, but if you had speaker in your name, you might be posting on LinkedIn for a new job. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Rant Network, a podcast hosted by my buddy Stuart Brisgell, myself, David Solomon, where we bring you unfiltered and uncensored conversations on a wide range of topics. This podcast is dedicated to giving you the platform to express your opinions, share your thoughts, experiences, and ideas, and hear from a variety of perspectives. So we're going to dive in today, as we do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, into the news, pop culture, politics, and so much more. But today is Politics Day. From rants about the absurdity of modern life and the stupid freaking GOP to discussions about the deeper issues affecting our society, we have you covered. Sit back, relax, enjoy the Rant Network. Well, last week, the Canadian speaker resigned because he's a dipshit and brought a Nazi into the parliament and became the fall guy for Justin Trudeau. Yesterday, Kevin McCarthy became the fall guy, not for Joe Biden, not for Donald Trump, but for Matt Gaetz and his band of Republican rebels, as Newt Gingrich called them. Stuart, for the first time in almost 250 years, the United States threw out a speaker not even within his first year in office. Boy, what say you about this embarrassment, my friend?
Well, you got to understand that McCarthy's push out is the second one that is most notably, remembered, because Ryan was the first in 2018. But they held back from throwing him out to let him finish, but he was an invertebrate, right? Here you had 8 hardline Republicans. And I guess you got to understand, because these hardline Republicans have long been grumbling over aid being poured into the war-torn Ukraine. Now, that's really not 100% true. They're not in favor or not in favor of providing aid to the Ukraine, but felt that securing our border was more important, in the Democrats' refusal to do anything. This became the Achilles heel, the straw that broke the camel's back, the finger that poked someone in the eye, or the thumb that went up someone's ass. Because really, they want to see border security, law and order, and reliefs for natural disasters and aid for the Ukraine, but not before doing the people's job. Supporting our country is the first primary, and refusing to do it, not for a lack of funds, just for a lack of directed funds. Because the bill that McCarthy put forward reduced 30% of the fat. It's very important to know. But these 8 figured that now's the time we can strike. It's the stupidest move in history, or will be the most brilliant move in history. One or the other. Why do I say the most brilliant move? Because now the Republicans are going to now have to force the Democrats to do the people's work. Secure the border, or you get nothing. There's no deal. You see, that's the funny part. There is no deal. They have 45 days to put a speaker in and come up with a deal, or the whole government shuts down once again. The threat counter comes. Now, the fiscal Republicans, which aren't extremists, by the way, they're fiscally being responsible. We haven't had a budget since, I believe, 1974. We've had omnibus bills, temporary bills, nothing that as they're directed to do. A budget. You yourselves, everyone who's listening or watching, you have a budget, or you have way too much money and you're just stupid because you don't have a budget. But even most ultra wealthy people that have generational wealth, there's always a budget. Okay? We give our kids budgets. We give our kids allowances. And what's happened in government has been a DC, right? Balloon. Always more, no one being accountable. The last time I think we had a balanced budget was post-Reagan, in the middle of Clinton, and that's the last budget I think we've ever balanced, which is just astonishing. But Gates is the ringleader, but now he's going to face other issues. The Health Ethics Committee is going to go after him for sexual misconduct, drugs misuse, and other things because 200 Republicans said yay. 8 Republicans said nay, with 208 Democrats giving them the majority. This is utter banana republic type shit. And the GOP is either going to go in history on making history or solving history. Because if the governments don't come together to do the people's job and the people's work, the country will cease to operate. David?
Stuart, I've been listening to you the whole time, and I'm shaking my head every single time because what's happening here is that Washington has proved that Washington is still stuck in the old days. You take a poll right now about the people who cared about the government shutdown last week, and majority of people were like, you know what? We're sick and tired of listening to your BS. And here, once again, BS par excellence. And I'll explain to you what I mean. You want to affect change, stop doing the same thing. It's Einstein's theory of insanity that you keep repeating the same thing, expecting a different result. And both the GOP and the Democrats both prove that they are incompetent when it comes to running the government. Both are incompetent. Matt Gaetz proved one thing. The GOP is a dysfunctional party. I'm sorry to say this morning, and my Democratic friends are going to probably be laughing at me saying, David, how dare you piss on the GOP? The Republicans are fucking dysfunctional. I'm sorry to tell you this. The Republicans blew it. You wanted to affect change? What did you do? You proved to the Democrats, you gave fodder to the liberal media that the GOP cannot rule. You can't govern. And last night I was watching CNN. I'll give you an idea. At 11 o'clock last night, Fox was talking about a active shooter in a Baltimore university, and CNN focused on their lack of speaker, that the GOP is incompetent. And the 5 lovely Democratic supporters and lovers around the table, and I agreed with most of what they said. All that the GOP proved is how incompetent they are this morning.
Well, David,
no. I'm going to finish this. No. I'm going to finish this point. The incompetence is the way you rule is you never, ever show that inside. You never air your dirty laundry. The Democrats.
Yeah, but David, you're missing part of it.
Let me go for 5. Shut up. Okay? Okay? The Democrats have dirty laundry. But when they stand together, all 200 plus Democrats voted together. Matt Gaetz went with his friggin' rebels across the aisle to stand with Ilhan Omar, the Squad, and other Democrats who are racists and hypocrites, and took down Kevin McCarthy. For what purpose? You're telling me, now we're going to be able to run and now? No, we're not. No, we're not. It's a flashlight. It's a lie. It's a pipe dream. But on the other hand, Stuart, the Democrats screwed up. Because had the Democrats actually said, you know what? We can squeeze more out of Kevin McCarthy. We can get more out of Kevin McCarthy. And we could show the American people that we care about keeping the government open. Because last week at the Biden inquiry, what did they say, Stuart? The GOP only cares to shut down the government. This morning, the liberal media isn't talking about how the Democrats shut down the government. Instead, they're blaming 8 Republican rebels for shutting down the government. Bravo. You did. Both parties are as dysfunctional and should be thrown out. Today, the U.S. government proved to the world they're a freaking embarrassment.
You feel better, David? You told me to shut up like 3 times. Listen.
Yeah, because you got to let people finish
Listen,
talking.
Nancy Mace of South Carolina, Andy Biggs of Arizona, Eli Crane of Arizona, Ken Buck of Colorado, Tim Burchett in Tennessee, Bob Good of Virginia, and Matt Rosendale in Montana on top of, we all know Gates. But here is something you got to pay attention to. This may be a brilliant move because you know what? You have to listen. I think it's drama and that the people's house doesn't need the drama. That I'll give you. But I'm going to say again, if they have a big plan and this is part of their plan to bring attention to the border and stymie everything without enforcing law and order and the border, then it's brilliant. If it is about that and it's not about that, then they're a bunch of fucking morons, David. And that's what I got to say.
Listen,
I feel bad for McCarthy. I feel bad for McCarthy to be the first person to actually been removed, right? He is the first. McCarthy's name is in the record book for that. But you want to know something? Both Democrat and the Republican Party are caving in to the minority. And the minority are becoming more like independents than they are minority of the party because the party as a whole is supposed to be in check. Now, the party isn't in a hole. And that's why you have all these factions going all over the place. Democrats got them. You mentioned the squad. These are the rebel right. They're the gang of eight. They exist. But if they don't force the border issue and law and order, there will be none to be talked about until there's an election.
Stuart, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you know what? To me, if this is really about ruling for the people and doing the people's work, this wasn't it. This wasn't the way to do it. This wasn't the way to do it. You know what? Either you act like an adult or you act like an impetuous teenager. And both parties did that. Look, you had a squad member who pulled a fire alarm and everybody excused him. I mean, to show you how stupid people are, they're like, oh, now Ukraine can't get money. I mean, think about it. Poor Ukraine, they can't get any money because the government is shut down. Last week, you were worried about seniors and everything. The words don't match the actions. And both the Democrats and the GOP both proved that it doesn't matter. My words from yesterday can't hold me accountable, right? This guy Bowman I think it's Bowman is his last name, who pulled the fire alarm, called these same people who he voted with Nazis. And then he goes, oh, no, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that. Don't hold me accountable. Well, for Christ's sake, your actions, you need to be held accountable. And in this case, I think that the GOP, if you're talking about strategically, you had Bob Menendez with his scenario, with his bribery scandal. You have the Bidens with their scandals and all this stuff. You had it in the bag. And what did you do? You gave it back to the Democrats. Bad tactics, bad Matt Gaetz, bad stupid GOP who voted with the Democrats. That's going to be the picture. The Republicans who cross the aisle, as they call it, say here in Canada, to vote with the other side. And you know what? That's going to be the picture. That's all people are going to remember. Not that they fixed anything, if they fixed anything, because I doubt anything will be fixed. Not with this current administration. I'm sorry.
David,
you.
Last words are, this is going to unfold over the next 45 days, or then we got a real problem. In the meantime, the markets have gone bonkers.
Yep.
2% in a day yesterday, the day before. It has been insane. And you know what? These politicians don't give a shit.
They don't care about you and me, Stuart. Bottom line. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning into the Rant Network today. We trust you found value in today's exchange, even though I told Stuart to shut up. Catch us every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern. Hey, get involved with us on social media. Share your thoughts. We love it. We genuinely value your feedback. And until Friday, keep those conversations alive, ladies and gentlemen. Keep on ranting. Have a great day.